Let's talk about the Note 10 Plus. Now, of course, it's 2024. This is a 2019 device. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this was Samsung's first $1,000 phone because I believe the Note 9 was 900. Now, if I'm mistaken on that, somebody can correct me in the comment section. But I believe this was their first $1,000 device, I believe. Now, I could be wrong. Oh, you know what? I am wrong. This device was 1100. Yeah, it was 1100 because with the Note 20 Ultra, they went up to 1300 and the S20 Ultra was 1400. So, yes, this was a $1,200 device and the Note 9 was Samsung's first $1,000 device. So, I believe, yeah, $1,100 for this device. And then Samsung jumped $200 with the Note 20 Ultra. Now, as many of you know, especially those that are Samsung loyalists or Samsung fanboys or fangirls, when this design came out, I really, really liked it. It's very elegant. Like, it's just beautiful. It's very different than that of the Note 9 that I have here. But what I will say about the Note 9 that I liked a little better, this device here had just a little more thickness to it and a little more heft. This device is much thinner and much lighter, which some people like. Everybody don't like a heavy device. Some people like a thinner device. For me, I don't like thin and light devices. I like devices that have a little weight to it because they feel a little bit more premium to me. They don't feel like, the least little thing they're going to break. Even though I know this is not going to break easily, but still, I just like that thicker, heftier type of device. That's just what I prefer. But everybody's different. We all have our personal preferences. But is this device any good in 2024? Well, I will say it is still a viable option if you're interested in a Samsung device and an older Samsung device. But you want a flagship device, which this definitely is. Now, this shocked me. The lowest price I've seen for this on Amazon, like Amazon Renewed, was $286, which I'm pretty shocked because keep in mind, 2019, it's 2024. So I can't believe this device is almost $300. And keep in mind, it's not getting any more security or OS updates, So I'm shocked at that. Next thing, I looked at a price for a brand new one on Amazon. For brand new, now you're not gonna believe this price I'm getting ready to tell you. Brand new for the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus in 2024, $629 for this device, brand new. And this device gets no updates whatsoever. Like, why would anybody pay almost over $600 for a device that's 5 years old and gets no updates at all? Like, that's just crazy to me. So I suggest you do not do that unless you just got money like that. Now, I will say again, when this device came out, very nice, elegant design, very beautiful. You got your Gorilla Glass 6 on the front and back. But this Gorilla Glass 6 I didn't like it because it scratched really, really, really easily, and I did incur some very deep scratches in this device. I don't know if you're going to be able to see them. Yeah, they're right. It comes right across from here all the way over. You should be able to see that. I mean, really deep scratches. I mean, this Gorilla Glass 6 just was not very good, and I did not like it. And it also interfered when I tried to use the S Pen when I was writing on the screen because of those deep grooves. It affected the use of the S Pen. So the build quality, I'll say, as far as how it feels premium. But that Gorilla Glass 6 just was not good. If you put a screen protector on here, then you're fine. But keep in mind, I mean, it did come with a pre-installed screen protector, so I'd say if it's on there, you leave it on there. But if you take it off, and I don't like screen protectors, that's why I took it off. But I did not know that the Gorilla Glass was going to be that weak where it scratched that easily. Because on my Note 20 Ultra with Gorilla Glass Victus, remember, I have no micro scratches and no scratches whatsoever. And that's what came after this. Because Gorilla Glass Victus came after Gorilla Glass 6. So this Gorilla Glass 6 was not good. I did not like it at all. Other than that, like I said, like the design. The build quality does feel nice in the hand. But keep in mind, like I said, it's thin. And I don't really like thin phones, but to each his own. You do have your face unlock that's still mediocre, sorry. This was the first time Samsung introduced their ultrasonic fingerprint sensor. It works good if you leave your finger there. It's not one of those you hit real quick. Sometimes it'll work like it just did it. Most times it don't work like that, honestly. But if it seemed like for the video, now it wants to work super fast. And it's crazy because my Note 20 Ultra fingerprint sensor don't work like this. And this is an older model, so that's pretty crazy. All right, so you got the ultrasonic fingerprint sensor. You got always on display where you can see the time, date, day, battery percentage, and your icons are colored. Unlike I'm told that the Note 2020, the S24 Ultra took away the icons being colored. I don't know why Samsung did that. That was not a good move. I don't like that at all. But you still have that on here. And you got dual stereo speakers with Dolby Atmos. Speakers are decent. You know, they're not as good as, of course, the Note 20 Ultra speakers are better. Note S23 Ultra speakers are just, they're crazy good. But these speakers are not bad. They're pretty loud. And they just lack, I guess, that stereo full sound. That's all they lack, just a little stereo fullness. But if that doesn't really matter to you and you usually use headphones, that's not going to be a big deal. You do get 12 gigs of RAM, unlike the S23 Ultra. They started out with 8 gigs of RAM, which I thought was a complete and utter joke. But 12 gigs of RAM on this. 256 gigs of internal storage for the base model. Now, this is what Samsung did with this Note 10 Plus. Now, keep in mind, with the Note 9, it was 128. But when they went from the Note 9 to the Note 10 Plus, 12 gigs of RAM, because I believe it was only 6 gigs of RAM on here and 8 gigs of RAM for the 512 gig variant. But with this 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage. But then when they went to the Note 20 Ultra, they only gave you 128 gigs. Like, see, that's what I'm saying. Samsung takes a step forward, 2 steps back. Makes no sense to me. Now, the thing that I know a lot of you love about this device as well, expandable storage. Yes, expandable storage up to 2 terabytes. I mean, not to 2 terabytes, 1 terabyte. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about the LG devices. 1 terabyte. So you could put a 1 terabyte SD card in here and you got basically unlimited storage. Now, I know everybody don't need that much storage. You know, to each his own. I need it. I prefer something with a terabyte. I love that. With addition to the 256 gigs. And you know what I like about this so much, that when you have the, that option of using an SD card when you're shooting video or anything like that, taking photos, you can have it go straight to the SD card as opposed to the internal storage. So you don't have to fill up your internal storage. I like that. That's a good option to have. But as you know now, we don't have that option because we do not have expandable storage. But that's something that I really liked about this device. You also have IP68 water and dust resistance, which is always good. You can submerge this up to 5 feet for 30 minutes. You're good to go. Also, MST. Now, that's something I failed to mention the last time I did my Note 20 Ultra video. Somebody had mentioned it to me in the comment. But you do have MST, magnetic secure transmission, meaning, you can use this on any credit card terminal, whether it be the newer ones or the old ones. This will work. That's something they took away with the S21 Ultra. They took that option away, which I don't like. You're also getting 45 watt super fast charging. Now, keep in mind, this was the first time Samsung had given us this type of fast charging, which I thought was really cool. Excuse me. Now, once again, It gave you 45 watt capabilities, right? Now, they did give you only a 25 watt charging brick in the box, which was still good. And also keep in mind what you got in the box. Now, this is the box right here that it came in. See how much bigger this box is? When you open it up, you actually got some stuff in here. Okay, now I got this from AT&T. But you actually got headphones. You got the charging brick. You got, what do you call them things? Did I take them out of here? I probably took them out here. But you also got S Pen replacement tips. So you actually got a full unboxing experience with the Note 10 Plus. Okay, so you got the charging brick, you got headphones, and also you got some S Pen replacement tips. This was the last device that you actually got a full unboxing experience. After that, they started with the Note 20 Ultra. All you got in the box was a charging brick, and then when they went to the S21 Ultra, you didn't even get that. So moving on. So 45 watt charging capabilities, 25 watt charging brick in the box, but with the Note 20 Ultra, they dropped it down to 25 watts. Why in the world would you go from 45 watts down to 25 watts with a phone that you called an Ultra? This was just called the Note 10 Plus. So think about this. You went from 45 to 25. I don't get it. You went from having headphones in the box and no S Pen replacement tips to only a charger in the box. Like I said before, one step forward, two steps back. Now, the wireless charging is still 15 watts, and you do get reverse wireless charging. Now, the cameras on here are really still good, in my opinion. I took a lot of photos with this when I was using it on a regular basis. I love the photo and video quality of this device. Now, for those of you, and I know because I've gotten a lot of views on this video, but I shot a entire concert with this phone. It was commissioned, a reunion concert for those of you that are into gospel groups. They're my favorite gospel men's group of all time, commissioned. And I filmed the whole concert with this device, and it came out so good. I was so impressed. I shot it in 1080p at 60 frames per second, and it came out just as clear and just as easy to see. And even the sound quality is really good. So you can look that up, on my channel and check out that video if you're inclined to do so. But this thing takes very good photos and videos. Now, if you're heavily into the video game, then maybe you need the newer models. But for the average person, you're going to love the camera quality of this device. You got 4K on the back and the front. So you're good to go when it comes to that. Of course, the Bluetooth S Pen, Samsung DeX, good lock with the display. Of course, you got a beautiful 6.8-inch Quad HD dynamic AMOLED display. Keep in mind, no high refresh rate, which this phone should have had. It should have had at least, at minimum, a 90 hertz refresh rate. Minimum. But stuck at 60. But you do get to enjoy the Quad HD resolution on here, unlike the Note 20 Ultra, where they gave you the high refresh rate, but then they didn't give you the ability to use it at Quad HD resolution. Once again, one step forward, two steps back. Samsung just confuses me. Year by year, they literally confuse me with the way they do things. I don't get it. 4,300 milliamp hour battery. You can get through a full day. Not much more than that. At least that's been my experience. Now, I'm using 100% brightness. As you can see how bright this display is. I'm using the always on display at its highest setting all the time, 24 hours. So I use my phone different. If you use your brightness probably at a way lower resolution, maybe you could get into the next day. So my experience is good for a full day, and that's about it. Now, Android 12 was the last update for this device. So, but if you're somebody that, it doesn't matter about software updates and security updates, then you're going to be fine with Android 12 and One UI 4.1. Now, of course, you get all the typical Samsung features that come with a phone like this. Samsung Wallet, Samsung Pass, Samsung Secure Folder, floating windows, edge panels, edge lighting, link to Windows, Samsung Notes one-handed mode, dynamic live and lock screen wallpapers, video wallpapers, Bixby routines, link to Windows, Android Auto, quick share, call and text on other devices, side key double tap to wake and sleep to screen, palm swipe to capture, lift to wake, nearby share, and secure Wi-Fi. So it's fully loaded with all of One UI's best features. Of course, you're going to miss out, I guess, on some newer features with the, newer One UI versions, but you're not missing out on much, honestly, because the majority of the time when I get new OS updates, pretty much 95% of that stuff that they add to these devices, I don't even use. I don't find not usable, but I don't find helpful for me and my daily life. So that's not going to be a big deal. You'll be fine with One UI 4.1, honestly. Now, if you're having any type of performance issues and your battery's degraded really bad, then you may want to consider upgrading. But other than that, if you're not having any performance issues, which I'm not having on this device, everything is pretty quick. It's not a slow device. Now, it's not as quite as fast as, of course, newer devices, but this is not slow. As you can see how fast things are loading up. It's definitely not a slow device at all. It really isn't. I do miss having the higher refresh rate on, because I have that on the newer devices. But overall, if you don't care about stuff like that, or maybe you never used a device that has a high refresh rate, then you're not missing any. I mean, you're not gonna notice a difference with this. Now, I've already been using a lot of devices with high refresh rates, so I know the difference between that and 60. You can definitely feel it. Now, if you've never used it, then you're not gonna be missing anything. But other than that, I think this is definitely still a viable option for you. I wouldn't pay no 600 something. Like if you can get it for under 300, I would go for it. Has an excellent, beautiful, bright, vivid display. The build is nice. It has a big display. You do have, your camera in the front. It's a little bit bigger on here because this is the first time they actually put a camera dot on the front, because with this one, you still had a little bezel. Now, I don't have this turned on, but you still had like a thin bezel at the top. And of course, you had the iris sensor up there too. So this was the first time they removed the bezels. This phone was, basically bezel-less. So it was a big leap from this to this, but they took away some things, when it came. This one had, you had your heart rate sensor, you had your iris sensor. They took away both of those with this, so it was some things you're definitely missing. Of course, you had your fingerprint sensor on the back. Here you had the in-display fingerprint sensor. And also, you had a headphone jack, which is something they eliminated on the Note 10 Plus. And also, the biggest problem I had with this device, honestly, was them putting the power button on the left side of the device, which I thought was stupid. They had always put the power button on the right, and they all of a sudden decided to put it on the left, which made no sense to me. Because as a matter of fact, after this model, they went back to the right side. So I don't even know why they did that. The one thing you'll remember too that's good, now you could always double tap to turn it off, so it won't have to be an issue as far as, pressing, the power button over here, just double tap. But also, I like the fact that you had the S Pen on the right side where it belongs. With the Note 20 Ultra, they put it over here on the left side. And I hate that. I hate that placement. I know it has something to do with the cameras, but look, I'd rather you put the cameras in the middle of the device and put the S Pen back on the right where it belongs. I hate it being on the left. I absolutely hate it. So you got removal of the headphone jack. You got button on a power button on the left. You got no iris sensor. They took that. No heart rate monitor. They took that away. So this is the device when they started removing helpful features for us consumers. And of course, once they got to the S21 Ultra, they took away expandable storage. So they just finished this off right there. But like I said, is this still a viable option for you? I would say yes. Like I said, if you don't care about the latest OS updates or security updates, as long as you use secure websites, you'll be fine. I've never been hacked on none of my phones, and I have phones that have older, that don't get security updates. I've never had an issue. I don't get on any and all type of sites. I get on secure sites. That way I don't have to worry about my phone being hacked, so I don't worry about stuff like that. But to each his own, you could always get a VPN too if you're inclined, if you're concerned about security or worrying about getting hacked. But I do think this is still a viable option. There's people that are still getting the Note 9. Now, the software on here is just a little too old for me. But I definitely would, recommend the Note 10 Plus. All right, so thank you all for taking the time to view this content. I do appreciate it. Hope everybody out there staying safe, staying well, and I'll check you guys out in the next one. Peace.